I'm Kat.
And I'm Hayley.
And this is Night Classy.
A tipsy night class teaching the oddities and curiosities you never learned in school.
What are we drinking for this learning journey, Hayley?
I just topped off my double shot of espresso with a Truly.
Yum. What flavor?
That's a great question. Orange peach fizz.
That sounds really good. Is it good?
It is very good. Yeah.
Wait, I want to try it. Let me try it.
So I think I have 4 cans left of this Truly case that I bought in like June. We're getting down to it. And as we were saying before, I'm ready to transition into the more fall flavors.
I would like to make a drink for one of these episodes soon.
Oh, like a theme or just like a special drink?
I don't know. Well, the host of Bonfire Babble sent us that like witches like potion cocktail book, and I was thinking as we usher into fall, like maybe make one of the fall drinks, maybe a sangria.
Oh my god, yes. I'm so here for the sangria, especially the fall sangria.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
Well, I did make my drink today. It is a Gatorade that I made from powder.
Handcrafted for Le Hangover.
Yes, I drank 3 glasses of wine last night, and because I haven't drank in a while, it made me hungover, and I did not have a good morning. So I've been drinking Gatorade all day, and I accidentally put too much powder in it, so it's a little too sweet, but you know.
Strong in the way you would not anticipate.
Right. We can handle it. There's a little crunch of powder every now and then for some extra seasoning.
I like the crunch of powder.
Really?
Yeah, I like it when I do like a liquid IV and I do not quite enough water. I know it's nasty.
That is so nasty.
I just like the crunch. It's something about the sensory is pleasing to me.
There was one day where I made a Gatorade with powder and I forgot to stir it, and I put a straw in it and then just like sucked up straight powder. And I've never been so alarmed in my life.
Choked and died. That's like the cinnamon
disgusting.
challenge, but it's the
oh my
Gatorade
god,
powder
I forgot
challenge.
about the cinnamon challenge. Didn't someone like have health problems like years later from that? Like it got in their lungs or something, and then like they recently figured it out that
it's bad for you.
That like it got in their lungs and they like something happened to them. I think I could be totally making this up.
It tore their lung up, literally.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Did you do the cinnamon challenge?
My brother did. I can't remember if I did or not.
Yeah.
I feel like I probably did try it.
I feel like you'd remember if you did it, because I did it and it was horrible. Oh, it's so bad. It's so like it burns you and it like congeals partly, but then like also stays powdery. So like if you inhale it, like goes straight into your lungs and burns them. Oh my god. It's horrific. There's a reason it's a challenge and not something that's easy and fun to do.
I just saw a TikTok video where these girls were giving a warning about some spice. I can't remember which one. I want to say it was like cardamom.
Yeah.
And I guess in high quantities, it's an hallucinogenic.
Really?
And these girls were like, we want to get stoned. So they tried it out and then it just all went downhill.
Did they eat it?
They ate it.
Okay.
I forget what they ate it with or how it went down, but they ended up going to the hospital because the girl was running like 101 fever, and her friend was crying because she thought that she was invisible and that the friend was the only person in the world who could see her.
That's pretty sad.
Like, tripping their balls off from this spice.
Cardamom, that's what goes in like Christmas cookies and stuff, right?
It was some common spice.
Okay.
I can't remember which one. I'll have to look it up during our break. I'll let you all know.
Weird. That is crazy. But yeah, what have you been up to?
Just working my ass off.
Me too. It's been good times. And Alec is leaving me in a couple days. He's going to Podcast Movement, a conference for a week. He's going to speak there. So I'm about to be on my own.
It's in Dallas. I'm very excited. I've never been to Dallas.
I don't think I have either. I've never actually gotten to explore Texas. It's always been like flying through.
Yeah, it's the airport for me every time. But yeah, I'm going to have to make you hang out with me because I'm about to be very lonely. And probably very scared also.
Yeah, I was thinking it's either going to be amazing to have like the house alone for a little while.
I think for the first like couple days it'll probably be fun. I've started watching Pretty Little Liars, which Alec has no interest in, so I'm gonna drink some wine and watch a lot of that. But after the novelty of TV time has worn off, I think I'll be really bored.
Yeah, and I feel like Pretty Little Liars, from what I have seen of it, I feel like it can get kind of creepy vibes sometimes.
I mean, yeah, it's like supposed to be scary, but it's like a soap opera. Like, it's very cheesy. So I don't think that show would actually scare me. But I mean, maybe. Who knows? I won't write it off.
Yeah, if I'm in the right mood, I feel like I can scare myself into thinking, like, whenever I'm coming up the basement stairs at the old house and it has those open slits, like, I know that nothing is down there, but I'm like, but what if something is?
And then I always would imagine there'd be like a little like pale person like crouched in those like slats looking at me.
Yes, it's the most terrifying thing. I hate the open stairs. Same thing at my grandma's old house. It was just an absolute no. So I can easily scare myself if I'm in the right mood.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's life. Do you have?
I do have a shout out before we move on. I do want to shout out Miss Diana Perkins, our newest Learning Wormy on Patreon. She said she loves the show and it just felt natural to join us on Patreon. So
thanks, Diana.
We love you, Diana. Thank you for joining us on Patreon.
We love you so much. And we don't have them yet, but we actually saved up enough Patreon money to buy some like really freaking fancy microphones. So those are coming. Hopefully they'll be here for our next recording and then we'll sound better thanks to our Patreon.
We're going to sound like we're literally right in your ear.
It's going to be so crazy.
It's going to be scary, actually.
Yeah, it might be scary. I've already like gotten the comment from people that like our current mics are like so good that you can hear our mouth noises, which bothers people. So get ready because we're about to step it up even more with the mouth noises.
So many mouth noises.
You're going to love it.
I would say I'm sorry, but it's like everyone has mouth noises, you know?
I'm not sorry at all.
I'm sorry for the sniffling. Not the mouse noise. The mouse noises.
The mouse noises. Your sniffling has gotten better, I feel like.
I feel like Alec has just edited them out.
Oh,
I think that's what it is.
I think it's gotten better because I still have to mark them, but you haven't had many recently.
I just resisted. I'm like training myself to not sniffle.
I have never noticed your sniffles, so I guess you just
don't
better than everyone else. Yeah, maybe. There is like a little nasal spray there. You want to give that a try?
No, because the last time I did that, it stuffed me up for like 4 days.
Oh.
I could not breathe out of my nose. I got terrible sleep, so I'm not using that.
Okay.
Afrin again. I freaking hate you, Afrin.
Hayley's had a post-nasal drip for 2 years now that we've been trying to edit. So I'm always like, here's more meds.
Yeah, not 2 years. How old am I? 25 years. Is how long it's
probably
been
have
going.
a deviated septum or something.
Oh, for
Get
sure.
that checked out.
I need to go to the psychiatrist. I need to find a new one. I need to go to the ear, nose, and throat doctor.
Yeah.
I need to go to the dentist. So many things,
I
but
mean,
yet I don't.
Get that surgery. Having surgery is great. Just lay on the couch, watch Pretty Little Liars. Eat whatever you want.
30 sick days I can use.
Jeez, what the fuck?
Yeah,
really?
31 sick days.
Dang, you should just take a month off. You should have a baby.
I should have a baby.
Or get a new cat.
Or have surgery.
Yeah.
Do it just like back to back with breaks. Take a week before Thanksgiving break and the week after. Just do like 3 weeks total.
Oh my God.
So
you could take it right after Thanksgiving and then go all the way up to Christmas and then have the Christmas break.
Peace out, bitches. I'll see you next year. And when I say
never
see you next year, it's not like corny. It's like I'm literally not going to see you for 3 months. So see you next year.
I get it. Thank you.
I didn't think that you didn't get it.
No, I know. I was making fun of that joke in general. I know I get it. But yeah, you should go on a vacation.
I'm going to start planning right now.
Okay.
You go ahead with your lesson. I'm going to be over here looking up cruises or something.
Yeah, look at Airbnb while I tell you about this lesson. But don't start yet because the first part is interactive and I'm going to start by torturing you. So here we go.
Are you whispering again?
No, I promise I won't whisper. An important battle fought on August 29th and 30th, 1862, between the Army of Northern Virginia under Robert E. Lee and several federal forces commanded by Polk was won by the South. Name this battle.
Oh my God, I don't know. I don't know the battles by name.
The battle is called Second Bull Run. Next question. The audion tube, perfected by this American inventor in 1907, led to the development of the radio. Name this American inventor.
Macaroni something.
Lee DeForest.
What is happening?
Third question. One of the hits of 1957 was this Calypso-themed song. Listen and name it. It's time for you to play the song.
Oh.
I'm so confused. I feel like I'm having a fever dream.
It'll make sense in a minute, I promise.
Song. Listen and name it.
Okay, Hayley, name the song.
Belafonte song.
Oh, God. I don't know. The Creek song.
It's called, well, you're close. It's called the Banana Boat Song.
Oh, okay. That is close.
Yeah.
Wow,
Water.
the Creek song.
I'm going to count that as a correct. Good
I
job.
get a point. I get
You
a
do.
point.
one for three. So these are all questions asked on Tic-Tac-Dough, which was a 1950s American quiz-style game show where contestants answered trivia questions on a tic-tac-toe board in an effort to get 3 in a row. So the tic-tac-toe board would have categories, and you'd like pick your space, and then you'd get a question, and if you got the question right, you got your X or your O
Oh, okay.
on the board.
You're like practicing for when we host trivia.
Yeah, it is a trivia themed lesson.
Oh.
So a brief little plug. Starting today, when you're hearing this, we will be at Hampline Brewery hosting a pub trivia at 7 p.m. every Thursday. Come see us. But in any case, I had to watch this freaking 1950s show and like transcribe the questions, and it was not a fun time.
Is it really hard?
People were clearly bored back then because it was boring.
What was boring about it? Just
It
like
was
the
just
setup,
boring.
or
Like the questions are hard. And I don't know. Have you ever tried to watch like a TV show from the 50s?
no, I haven't.
Don't.
It
It's
seems
not fun.
boring.
Viewers did not know it at the time, but this show and many others were rigged. And when the truth came out, it would result in a scandal so huge, it would end with a grand jury and a congressional investigation.
Oh my goodness! So did they do illegal things? Is that why it's escalating so much?
Well, kind of. I mean, they claimed that you were competing in like trivia and like you could win and da-da-da-da-da, but it was all rigged,
Oh
much
my
like
God.
The Bachelor. So viewers... Oh, I just
I
read
love
that bullet
stab
point.
at The Bachelor. Just like for no reason, you're just mad.
Listen, I'm deep in the pit at this point. Shout out Game of Roses podcast. Anyway, quiz shows were huge in the 1950s. They were all the rage. They first began as radio shows in the 1930s. One such show was called Information Please, and this was a 1938 radio show where listeners would write questions in, attempting to stump a panel of experts. So the panel might be veterinarians, and then you're trying to write in a veterinary question that they don't know, that they
Oh
can't
my
answer.
gosh, it'd be so fun just to make up questions.
Yeah, I mean, your question wasn't guaranteed to get on. They had like a fact checker, so it had to be a legitimate question. But if your question made it on the air, you would receive $2 if it was used, and then an extra $5 if they couldn't answer your question.
Nice.
Yeah. And this show ran until 1952, and it's noteworthy not only for its success, but also its integrity. The show's producer, Dan Goulenpaul, refused to be held hostage by the demands of sponsors. Once he fired the Reynolds Tobacco Company after they ran a series of untruthful ads and demanded that the show's contestants be smoking their cigarettes while on air.
Smoking prevents cancer.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. And he was like, no matter how much
literally-
money you pay us, we're not going to allow this. And this kind of integrity would not be the common theme for these quiz shows, let's just say.
Oh, sure. Integrity and capitalism do not get along.
No, those are two mutually exclusive things. In 1938, the first TV game show premiered. It was called Spelling Bee, where contestants would compete against celebrities to spell words correctly for a top prize of $50. And this show lasted only 4 episodes before it was canceled, and a lot of other quiz shows were canceled around this same time because of the outbreak of World War II. And the government was trying to free up space on the airways for war coverage and patriotic messaging. And they also felt like some of these TV networks had too much freedom on what to show during wartime. And, you know, they wanted everything to be, you know, pro-America, pro-war, all those good things. The quiz shows that did stay on the air gave away patriotic prizes. So they're like, okay, you can stay, but like, I don't know what a patriotic prize is.
You
like
get an American flag.
Bikinis. I'm not sure.
Stick of butter.
Yeah.
Psych, we're rationing.
Right. Yeah. Definitely not butter. I don't know what it would have been. Lard, spam.
Maybe some
I
lard,
don't know.
an apple.
Yeah. Gelatin.
Direct lineage from Johnny Appleseed.
That would be a very patriotic prize.
It would be.
Let's see. But after World War II, more households got TV, and also housewives were back in the home after working in the factories and stuff during the war. So women were at home during the day to watch game shows, and TV just really took off in general, but especially game shows. One such show was called Mrs. Goes a Shopping, and it ran from 1944 to 1949. And I really wanted to recap an episode of this show, but I could not find where to watch it. There's very little information, at least like easily available on Google. I'm sure there's probably books about it, but it was a show where women would compete in challenges in New York City grocery stores. So I feel like it was a little bit like supermarket, like Smash or whatever that show is called.
Where they have to like go and find the ingredients for a certain amount of time.
I think it was kind of like that, but it was all women. There was also a show called Queen for a Day, which I think I may have talked about on my reality TV episode. At least I think I talked about the Brazilian version. But this was a show where female contestants would be on a stage in front of an audience, and they would take turns sharing about like their sob stories.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Wait, is that same show that the girl ended up getting like murdered?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
And usually these stories centered around financial hardships, like something that the show could help out with. That was kind of the point.
Yeah, but first you had to exploit.
Yeah, first you had to share your personal trauma. So these things would often be like having to pay for medical care of their sick child, purchasing a hearing aid, and not being able to, needing a new washing machine or refrigerator. And oftentimes the women sharing their stories would break down sobbing. And it was kind of like the sadder your story was and the more you cried, the better. Right?
Yeah. Imagine if you were that woman who needed a new washing machine and the girl next to you is like, my child has cancer.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Fuck.
I imagine that when they cast women to come on this show, they probably purposely like share someone who's just being dramatic about something stupid and then someone who has an actual problem.
Yeah, there are levels to it. I wonder what their codes are. It's like level green, yellow, and red.
Yeah, I would love to work in production for reality television.
You
it sounds
need
so
to.
Fun.
You actually need to. You would be so successful.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
If anyone wants to hire me, slide into my DMs. So anyway, the audience would watch them do this, and after they'd heard everyone out, it was time to choose a queen for the day. Contestants would be brought forward one by one, and the audience would clap for their favorite. And then the winner was chosen by an applause meter, which like how fucked up is that you share like the saddest thing that ever happened to you and then there's like an applause meter. And so once the person with the loudest applause was announced, they would be, you know, given a velvet robe, a crown, and then their wish would be granted by the show. And oftentimes they'd also get extra things from sponsors, you know, like vacations, date nights, clothing, kitchen appliances, whatever. The host, Jack Bailey's signature sign-off was, "This is Jack Bailey, wishing we could make every woman a queen for every single day." So that's cute.
Make me a queen.
Right, Jack Bailey.
Jack Bailey.
Stop wishing and make it happen. On all these shows, the stakes were generally pretty low, at least compared to modern day reality show prizes that are often in the hundreds of thousands to even $1 million. Because if you think back to that radio show, you got $2, you know, if your question was used, $7 if it was a good one.
$1,000 at the time.
Right.
Not actually.
I mean, not actually,
about.
but like still lower than our standards today for game show prizes. And these prizes were usually so small that the shows typically weren't that competitive. It was branded mostly as silly fun, not super intense. And that is until a 1954 Supreme Court decision. In 1954, the Supreme Court ruled that the game show giveaways are not gambling. So prior to this, because of gambling laws, they weren't giving out huge cash prizes because they could be prosecuted for that, but now they could. And
how was that gambling though, if they're just giving it away?
Well, because they're having people on playing a game for money, I guess. I don't really know either. And maybe because I feel like gambling is you have to put up some of your own investment.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
But I don't know.
They just don't want us to have fun.
Yeah.
But I guess they do since they demolished
that. They got rid of it. So now this opened the door for a new era of game shows that were high stakes and offered massive prizes. The first was the $64,000 question, which is a general knowledge quiz show that paid out up to $64,000 to the winner.
Why that number? Was that just the max you could give away at the time?
You know, it was not the max, but I don't know why they chose it. I do know that the guy who came up with it originally made it the $64 question, and then he was like, that's not fun, and just added 3 zeros to it. So I don't know where he got that 64 number.
Maybe it was 69, but he had sloppy handwriting.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Or like it was 69 and then the host of the show didn't want to read 69 and have everyone laugh at him. Yeah. So he's like, we'll just pretend this is 64.
Like when Kevin didn't read our trivia name, our team name. So it's our go-to.
When I host trivia, I'm going to read every name, no matter how risque they are.
Oh yeah, I don't care. The riskier, the better.
The riskier,
in my
the
opinion.
better. I 100% agree. So this $64,000 was a massive amount of money at the time in the 50s. For example, a machinist back then earned about $80 per week, and like a $4,000 salary was about like the average American income. A 3-bedroom home on Long Island cost only $14,000, and a new Ford truck was just a couple grand.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Can we go back? I'd like to do that.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe just like give me more money.
Can I just cherry pick history and make my own reality?
Imagine being able to buy a 3-bedroom house in New York for $14,000.
Oh my God. I still couldn't buy a house.
Imagine but you could save
I could take out a loan.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it would be a lot easier to spend 14 grand than like 600,000. Yeah. So never mind. The show was an instant hit, and 15,000 Americans wrote to the show every week asking to appear as a contestant and basically pitching themselves. So this show is a really big deal. It took off. Another popular quiz show was called 21. On 21, 2 contestants competed in a trivia game, and this show had the dramatic twist where contestants were, I think just sometimes, I don't think all the time, they were isolated in separate booths, and like they had headphones on to answer the question. So it was like very dramatic. Like there were all these like camera shots of them like sitting in the booth, like with like spotlit all by themselves, like sweating, trying to think of the answer.
The drama, sweating.
So much drama. The game shows were popular for their dramatics and suspense. And with this big prize money at stake, gameplay was tense. Production also, of course, featured gimmicks like close-ups, lighting, and sound effects. According to media historian Olaf Horschlemann.
What a name.
Horschlemann. Much of their appeal was that they, quote, transformed people who were not celebrities or recognized experts in their field into superstars. And of course, we still see this phenomenon now with reality television.
Oh, yeah. That's like a quick shot way to get the Instagram followers go the influencer route is to
for
be
sure.
on reality TV.
Yeah, the influencer Instagram followers is like the real prize these days. So now regular people were becoming celebrities, and one such contestant turned household name was Joyce Brothers. Joyce was a normal person. She was working as a psychologist before winning the $64,000 question in 1955 and then again in 1957. Joyce won the show by beating a panel of boxers at a game of boxing trivia.
Oh, wow. I love how she went back like 2 years later. She's like, my money ran out. I need I need some more.
That and people just loved her, like they wanted her back. She prepared for the show by reading and practically memorizing 20 volumes of encyclopedias on boxing. So she had done her homework.
She knew it was going to be against boxers about boxing.
I believe that she did this before she even got on the show, because to get on this show, you had to write in and like tell them why you should be on this show. So she became an expert at boxing and then pitched herself. She's like, look, like I know everything about boxing. Have me on this show and like, let's do this.
Okay.
And they agreed. They had her on and audiences loved her. They were like captivated by her. She ended up getting her own TV show. So she did really well. She got an entire career out of this.
No kidding. It's so crazy how life can take these changes, you know? I'm
Yeah.
sure she would have never expected it to go that far.
No, and like it's crazy to me that she did all that studying on boxing, not even knowing if she would get cast.
Yeah,
you know?
she's like, it's worth a chance. This is
Yeah.
pretty cool. I might as well become an expert.
Right. I really hope that boxing was something she was already interested in. Like,
I hope so.
Otherwise, like personally, I cannot imagine reading 20 volumes on boxing. I would
Hell
die.
no. No, I can't imagine honestly reading that much on anything.
True.
Any one thing, I guess.
Yeah, it would get really boring.
I don't
really
love
fast.
anything that much.
In sports, I feel like there's so many statistics and numbers that you would have to just memorize. She must have had some crazy memory.
Oh, yeah.
Another popular quiz show contestant was Charles Von Doren. He was a college professor and a member of a famously intellectual family. Supposedly, people also thought he was hot, but I looked at pictures of him and I do not agree.
Wait, I want to see. Let me look him up. What's his name?
His name is Charles Von Doren, Doren. I think he looks like a cannibal. Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, he's scary. His mouth is too big.
Yeah, he has like a huge mouth and like a very thin, bony face.
He looks like a creepy math teacher.
Yeah, he gives off just like yeah, he's not good. I mean, there's other
He's not
pictures of him where like I guess I can kind of see it, but I don't know. But he was known for being this like suave, handsome, intellectual guy. And in 1956, he took on the reigning champion of the game show 21, who was Herb Stemple. So
what is with all these names?
it was the 50s. They all had crazy freaking names.
Herb Stemple.
Herb Stemple.
With the last name Stemple, I guess you have to go kind of eccentric with the first name too.
Yeah, and
you gotta lean in.
It kind of suited him because Herb was the opposite of Charles. He was an ex-GI, but he was also nerdy. He wore glasses. He was shorter. And Charles was like tall and clean cut and cool. So it was kind of like the face-off between like this nerdy dude and then this like big hunky guy.
Herb Stemple is kind of cute.
I think Herb Stemple is way cuter than Charles.
Yeah, easily cuter.
I think so. But I guess the 50s had different standards.
Yeah, they did. In so many ways.
Yeah. So the two faced off in a series of trivia showdowns that lasted weeks. And Herb had been winning because on this show, if you won, you could get invited back. And so like, I think he did it a few times and he won multiple times. So that's when they brought in this Charles guy. And so the audience knew who Herb was. And then they have this like swanky challenger here to like have a showdown. It was very dramatic. people were into it. They were cheering on their favorite. And I mean, most people's favorite was Charles because he was kind of branded as, this superhero come to defeat this like little weirdo.
I thought it was branded differently. I thought that Charles would have been like the villain coming in.
No, he was like the good guy.
No, it should not have gone down that
No,
way. He has the face of a villain.
Yeah, 100%. So the two faced off in a series of trivia showdowns that lasted weeks. Eventually, the posh, cool Van Doren beat the awkward, nerdy Stemple, and American audiences ate it up. They this was their entertainment. Van Doren was launched into stardom. He was given his own TV show. He was held up as an icon. Author Maxine Fabe said, quote, "He is just too likable, too special, too important an icon to the American dream of success to fade from view."
My God, Charles gets all that, and they they drag Herb Stimple out in the street and beat him or something.
They did. And I mean, the whole time I was doing this research, I was being reminded of The Bachelor, how production just picks who's going to have what archetype, and just the way they edit it and Frankenbite stuff, they're gonna push their narrative, and that's exactly what we see. This is a very early form of that. And also from that quote I just read, we see that the major appeal of these shows, or at least a major appeal of these shows, is the messaging that any American can become successful overnight. It gave people hope and affirmed the quote unquote American dream, that we have this normal guy and then suddenly he's a star, before our very eyes. Only this isn't true because it was all rigged. It was all rigged. All of it.
Oh my God. I forgot what you said at the beginning. I literally forgot.
Well, surprise, bitch.
Damn it.
The show 21 had been rigged almost since the beginning.
Since the beginning?
Yeah. At the very first, it wasn't, at least for the first episode or two. But then a sponsor complained it was boring. So the show's producer, Dan Enright, had to do something about it. He had to make it more dramatic, get the people going.
The most dramatic season of, what's the name of the show?
The Bachelor? Oh, the 21. Which I think it's weird they named it 21 because that's already a game, right? That's a card game.
It is.
Yeah.
All I know is 21 questions. Or I guess it's 20 questions.
Yeah.
21. Did you ever have one of those little pod things that it would ask you? Those were awesome.
And there was actually a game show, I believe called 21 or 20 questions in the 1950s where they would play 20 questions.
Oh my
to
gosh.
Try to win.
I freaking love that game.
It was really fun. And those little balls were eerily accurate. What are you looking at?
I looked it up on Amazon. This little red ball that we're both talking about is $81.
Are you fucking serious? I should have kept mine.
They must have discontinued it. There's a different one that's $24, but I was thinking $12 max.
Yeah, I mean that's what they used to cost.
$80. Oh my God. What the fuck?
Those things were fun though. I kind of want one, but I'm not going to pay $80 for it.
Hell no. But you're right. They were eerily accurate.
Mm-hmm. So let's see, where was I? So anyway, Dan is we need to bring the drama. So what he did was he coached Herb Stemple and helped him develop a villainesque character that he would foil against lovable contestants like Charles Van Doren.
No, Herb, no.
I know, and Herb was just going right along with it.
He's spicy, Herb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the cardamom.
Yeah, you bite into it thinking Christmas cookie, and then you wake up thinking you're invisible. And
you wake up in the hospital. Everything about Stemple's persona was carefully planned by producers. In a 1992 PBS documentary, Stemple said, quote, "I used to go down to Enright's office every Wednesday afternoon before the show. Dan Enright would pull out cards with the questions and answers that would be used that evening. I ran through them. He would instruct me when to pause, when to mop my brow. Everything was carefully choreographed.
Wow, all of that. It sounds like Nathan Fielder's The Rehearsal. I know you guys haven't watched it yet, but for anyone listening, you know what I'm talking about.
I need to watch it.
You have to watch it. Please, dear God, watch it.
I will. The problem is, though, Alex going out of town, and that's when we wanted to watch together.
Watch it without him.
Maybe we will. Maybe
She
I
will. She does not care.
Watch it with me. I want to watch it again.
Okay, I'm down. I'll have to take a break from The Sopranos for a week, which is going to be really hard.
Oh, no.
I know. Maybe we can
Just watch it and say you
Zoom
didn't.
together and watch it.
Again, she'll watch it without
No,
me.
I will not. Oh my God.
The Sopranos, that seems like, since you've started it,
Yeah.
that seems like it would be a betrayal. Also, it's nutmeg, not cardamom.
Okay, nutmeg.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
also a Christmas cookie spice.
Yeah. So I'm just confused. I had too much nutmeg.
Okay. When Stemple lost to Van Doren, that was also planned. Stemple lost on a question about the movie Marty, which happened to be his actual favorite movie. And
I'd be so pissed.
Me too. That's just embarrassing. I feel like that's just twisting the knife to be
Yeah.
like, this is the question you're going to go out on.
Out of all the other questions, too.
Right.
Like, there's an infinite amount of questions.
Yeah, you could ask any question. There's literally the limit does not exist. So he had to pretend to not know that it had won the 1955 Academy Award for Best Picture. So my feeling is, not only is that like your favorite movie, but also 1955 was like pretty recent at the time. So it was an easy question anyway.
They just want him to look like an idiot.
Yeah. they
And
did.
you know what? They probably chose that question because the audience felt
Would
like
know
they
it.
knew it. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, it was just all a
All
show. It was
concocted. Oh my God.
so contrived. The deal was, so the reason Stemple agreed to this was because he was promised a high salary job at the network if he agreed to lose and go along with it.
Well, that's fair.
It's a pretty good deal, only Enright never followed through. Yeah. So that's bullshit.
That's so rude.
I
What
know.
the fuck? Why not? I'm sure the network had plenty of positions.
I think just because he didn't have to, you know, it's like,
Yeah,
we
he
got what
didn't
we wanted.
get
And
it in
also,
writing.
he had been giving him answers for so long. So, like, I think he probably won a few times after being given the answers. They're probably like, we did enough for you, dude.
Yeah,
Which I guess,
okay.
but like, you got to follow through because obviously Stemple was angry about this. So, guess what he did? He called up a reporter and was like, hey, this show is rigged. Let me tell you all about it.
yes. Good.
Yeah.
Go Stemple.
Get your revenge. However, the reporter that he told that the news station, the show is owned by NBC, so like a pretty big deal. They didn't want to just run this story without anyone to corroborate it because they were afraid of getting sued by NBC. So the report was not printed until in 1958, when another game show contestant called the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, and he said that he found materials that indicated the winning contestant was fed answers to questions on CBS's show, Dodo. So now we
Wow,
have
okay.
another person making these allegations. And with this report, now there was enough evidence to question the legitimacy of quiz shows, and Stemple's story was printed.
We're seeing a pattern here. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So in response to this, a grand jury was convened to hear over 150 witnesses about the shit that was going
Oh
down.
my gosh. All of this for a game show.
Yeah. But I mean, people felt really betrayed.
That's
Because
fair. Yeah.
like they were invested in this. They really thought it was real. And then suddenly, and like also if you were a contestant on that show and you lost, you'd probably feel betrayed too, because I mean, you could have won and you went through all this trouble to like go on a game show and it was rigged from the start. You were never going to win, you know?
Yeah.
So people were angry. Unfortunately, the result of this grand jury hearing was never made public, but people wanted answers. So the U.S. Congress launched their own investigation into what went down with this grand jury trial.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it went all the way to the top.
Have better things to do.
Apparently
But
not.
no.
Apparently this is
How
what
about,
mattered.
like, civil rights.
Right.
Nah, we'll give that another decade.
That's next decade. Let's deal with the game shows first, and then we'll get to that.
I'm laughing so I don't cry.
Yeah. So another 21 contestant, James Snodgrass, stepped up.
This is insane. I'm not even convinced this story is real because these names are so insane.
When I wrote this, I didn't even think about the names. I did not give it one thought. And now I'm realizing.
Snodgrass.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts.
Like it.
I like it too.
I like it.
These snozberries taste like Snodgrass. Anyway, so he stepped
Real quick,
up.
between Stimple and Snodgrass, which last name would you rather want?
Stimple.
I was going to pick Snodgrass.
Perfect. That makes sense.
Yeah, we can each have one.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas from the Stimples and the Snods. Sounds like a Dr. Seuss.
It does.
Yeah.
Oh.
So James Snodgrass stepped up and he was like, hey, I was given answers during my time on the game show 21 also. But instead of just allegations, he had proof. He had kept registered letters that he sent himself at the time of his TV appearances that contained the questions and answers he'd been given. So he had the foresight. He was being sent these things that had the questions and answers, and he was like, okay, bet, like, I'm now going to send these letters to myself so that they are like stamped by the post office, postmarked,
with the date.
to
He
prove
had the
that
receipts.
yeah, he
Oh my
came
God.
with the receipts. And so now there was like no denying it. And when this grand jury trial happened, all these people who were on 21 and other shows were called up as witnesses. They all said, no, it's not rigged. Like, we didn't cheat. Nobody gave us answers. And this exposed their asses because now there's proof that it did. And now they all lied under oath.
They lied. They're dirty liars.
Dirty liars. And a lot of them ended up being convicted for lying under oath. They all escaped jail time, but like they still got busted.
That's so embarrassing.
So embarrassing.
At that point, just admit it.
Well, they can admit it now, but they were in trouble for
initially-
lying under oath. Oh, you mean initially?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be so scared.
Oh, me
lying
too.
under oath.
And like, what do they have to lose? Like, they are not it's the game show that's in trouble
Right,
for
it's
giving them
already
the answers,
over.
not them. They could keep their prize money because the game show gave it to them. I don't understand why you would lie. I guess for your pride, like you don't want people to know you cheated. But one of these people was Van Doren, who was a professor at Columbia, and he had to resign from his post due to the controversy.
Wow.
So like extra embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
And 17 other contestants also had to plead guilty for lying under oath to that grand jury. Although it was probably a lot more who actually lied. The grand jury estimated that 2/3 of their witnesses lied.
Oof.
Yeah. And Joyce Brothers, who was the wrestling expert and two-time winner of the
forgot about him.
$64,000, it's a woman, question, she also denied that there was any cheating going on. So I don't know that she was in the grand jury summons, but she was, like, she staunchly denied that she cheated.
Are there some people who maybe just did not know there was cheating going on then?
Definitely. And from what I read, it seems like Joyce could have been one of them.
Yeah, I
The
want her
show-
to not be shitty so bad.
Yeah. And the show she was on was rigged, like confirmed, but it was actually rigged against her. So it's possible that she really didn't cheat. During her time on the show, producers tried to make her lose. They didn't like that she was winning.
And a woman.
And a woman, probably that was a big part of it.
Winning
but-
while womaning.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't like that she could just memorize encyclopedias and be actual boxers.
Obviously.
And so they tried to make her lose by giving her extremely niche questions that they felt like were impossible to answer. But she's a badass, so she still got them right and still won. And the revelation that these shows were rigged shocked and outraged the American public. In 1960, Congress responded by amending the Communications Act of 1934. And doing this, they made fixing the outcome of any TV show where prize money was on the line illegal. So now you can't.
There's
rig
no
shows.
winning.
No, there's no cheating. Yeah. And even with cheating now illegal, Americans in the 50s and 60s had a real distrust for quiz shows after being misled, making these quiz shows unmarketable because people didn't want to watch them. So they disappeared from airways.
Yeah, you don't want to feel like you're an idiot possibly getting duped while enjoying media.
Exactly. And the whole thing about these quiz shows is the suspense. So if you know it's pre-planned, like why would you care to watch, you know?
Yeah, if they're going to do that, then they should just market it like an actual TV show.
Right, like
not
a
like
trivia
a game show.
Yeah, definitely. And like especially with the prize money too, it's like, well, like I don't want to like see some sucker get paid for no reason, you know, if they didn't actually even win.
Yeah, just use Monopoly money.
Right. And this was the attitude until 1963 when Merv Griffin lamented to his wife, Jewel Ann, about the loss of quiz shows because audiences suspected the contestants were fed answers. So he's like, I miss quiz shows. I wish I could produce one. And Jewel Ann responded by saying, well, why don't you just give them the answers? And he was like, well, that's not going to work because where's the tension in that if you give them the answers? And she was like, well, there could be tension because the contestants could lose money if they don't ask the right questions.
Oh.
So we're doing it in reverse. She said that'll put them in jeopardy. And
I just got goosebumps.
And that is how the game show Jeopardy was conceived. It first aired in 1964 and, of course, continues to the present. And if you've ever watched Jeopardy, you know that the contestants are given an answer and they must respond with a question that answer answers.
If it were me and it was like my wife trying to explain it to me, I don't think I would ever get it.
Yeah, me too. It's a very difficult. Like it'd be like, no, obviously you can't. Like, where's the fun in that? I would be so confused. Yeah. But this format successfully captured the public's attention and just switching it up a little bit renewed their trust in TV quiz shows.
They're like, we're not your average game show. We're a cool game show.
We're the cool game show.
You guys need any condoms? Snacks?
They're the meme of the guy tapping his temple. Like,
Yeah.
you can't rig the answers if there are no answers.
Right. And that was the 1950s quiz show scandal. And I'd like to end by asking you both some of the questions that were on that first ever episode of Jeopardy.
Oh, okay. I'm down.
And I only picked ones that I thought were possible for you guys to get because some of them were really hard. So
Watch me get none of them.
I handpicked ones. I think you can get all of them. So between the two of you, I want to see if we can go 100%. I think I have like 6. Let's try to go 6 for 6.
Okay, let's do it.
And remember, you're answering with a question.
Do you want me to edit in some Jeopardy music?
Yeah, that would be great. Do you want to do it where you guys take turns giving it a try first, or do you want to just do it where whoever knows it can go ahead and answer?
Whoever knows it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you know how I feel on trivia now.
I know. Kat just wanted to play host.
Yeah, I wanted to be in the all knowledgeable.
I asked
Wizard of
these
Oz
kinds of
seat behind the
questions
curtain.
on the Night Classy Patreon, and they're like, okay, come on, just do it. Come on.
Okay.
Excuse me, Kat.
All right, here we go.
Is Jeopardy!
According to 1 Timothy, it is the root of all evil.
What is money?
Yes! Ding, ding, ding.
What is women?
Close relative of the pig, though its name means river horse.
What is manatee?
No.
What is hog?
What is
No.
dugong?
No. What is hippopotamus?
Oh.
So you've already missed one.
You didn't give us enough guesses.
Yeah, I don't know why a manatee would be anything remotely like a horse.
because they're called like a river cow, right?
Yeah,
or something
they
like
are.
that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I mixed up my farm animals.
They're a sea cow. Okay. Anyway. The blonde preferred in the film Gentlemen Prefer Blondes.
Who is Marilyn Monroe?
Yes. The third Monday in January, starting in 1986.
What is President's Day?
Oh. Come on, you guys.
What is Martin Luther King Jr. Day?
Yes.
Dang it,
You
that was
got
my
it.
first guess, and then I was like, no.
Can't be.
Okay.
The Scottish word for lake.
What is lock?
Yes.
Damn it.
Sorry. Okay, I'm going to give that one to Alec because he answered appropriately.
But I answered first.
All right,
Lock, what is?
last one. Pull the trigger, or what's in a jigger?
What is liquor?
Close. What is a shot?
Oh,
Yeah.
double meaning.
Yeah.
A shot of booze, a shot
Yeah.
of gun.
I had no clue on that one.
Yeah, that was a
Yes.
tough one, the way it was worded.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, that was my lesson.
That was wonderful.
Thank you. Caitlin, I believe it's Caitlin. I promise next week I'll do your Patreon pick, but this is just, I just felt like
This
doing
is
this
what
one this
happened.
week. Yeah, this is what we got. So I hope you enjoyed it. I got most of my information from a history.com article called Rigged Quiz Shows Gave Birth to Jeopardy! By Aaron Blakemore. Also, the Queen for a Day Wikipedia page, a PBS.org article called The Rise of TV Quiz Shows, the 1950s Quiz Show Scandals Wikipedia page, Mrs. Goes Shopping Wikipedia page, Spelling Bee Game Show Wikipedia page, the YouTube video Tic-Tac-Doe 1957 rigged episode from G.R. Bryant, and the Jeopardy Wikipedia page and brainfall.com.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Let's hear a quick word from our sponsor, and we will be right back. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Without a healthy mind, being truly happy and at peace is hard. But the good news is therapy works. I am a product of therapy myself. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I am saying that I feel like I have tools to deal with anything that comes my way. And without having therapy and talking to someone who is unbiased and doesn't know me in my personal life has given me those tools. I can walk myself through situations that before going to therapy may have very well led to a situation where I was sitting in my closet crying, and that is very real. So therapy has helped me a lot. I think it's beneficial for just about everyone. But what is therapy exactly? It's whatever you want it to be. Maybe you're not feeling motivated right now. Maybe you're feeling insecure. Maybe you're not dealing well with everyday stress. Whatever it is that you need, it's time to let go of the shame. These are normal human struggles. You deserve to be happy, and now you don't have to worry about finding an in-person therapist near you to help. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. So join the millions of people who are seeing what online therapy is really about. It's always a good time to invest in yourself because you are your greatest asset. And special offer to Night Classy listeners. You can get 10% off your first month of professional therapy at betterhelp.com/classy. That's betterhelp.com/classy. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this podcast. And thank you all for using that code CLASSY. When you do that, it helps us keep the show running. So when you support our sponsors, you support us. Back to the show. Welcome back, everyone.
Hi.
Hi. Today in my learning journey, we are learning about art and scandal.
Ooh, another scandal.
I know. It's always so funny
Wow.
how our lessons usually connect in one way or another.
Truly. And I guess you could say TV shows are a form of art.
That's true.
Maybe.
They are. This
Yeah.
happened before there was TV. So, if it would have been 100 or so years later,
Yeah.
then maybe this would have been a TV show. Okay. We're going to learn about a painting that is said to have ruined the model's life. And that model's name is Virginie Amélie Avengo Gautreau.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. I'm going to call her Amélie.
Okay.
She was born in Louisiana in 1859 to French Creole parents. When her father died in the Civil War, her family had to take out loans to pay for the family plantation. And her mom was like, fuck this. We're moving to Paris.
Oh, I mean, I wish.
Yeah,
Right?
sounds
Can we
great.
just
They
go
just
ahead?
like left their debt behind and skirted.
Listen, I have a new plan.
Went straight to Paris. So they escaped their debt in Paris, but it wasn't all that they thought it was going to be. Amélie's mother swiftly married her off when she was of age to a wealthy banker named Pierre Gautreau, who was twice her age. And she wasn't that excited, but it was like, whatever. Now, Amélie did have one thing going for her. She was very pretty. She was considered a, quote, professional beauty, but she struggled to secure her footing within high society.
How does one become a professional beauty?
She ended up posing for a lot of paintings.
Okay,
has
so she
a
was
lot
like
of
a
portraits.
model. Okay.
Yeah, she started modeling. It helped bolster her career and kind of her social status. And an American expat, Edward Simmons, wrote about her, quote, I remember seeing her, the noted beauty of the day, and could not help stalking her as one does a deer.
Oh,
Her head and neck undulated like that of a young doe. Every artist wanted to make her in marble or paint.
oh,
Super creepy.
Gross. Okay.
But I feel like that was like the general attitude about young, beautiful women at the time.
Yeah, it reminds me just the doe analogy. Have you ever seen people like? I feel like it sometimes like their marriage announcements. That's when it's like really tacky when the girl
my
dresses
God,
up
yeah.
as a doe and the guy like pretends he like hunted her and
Yes.
killed her.
I
Question
see
mark?
so many of those. I'm a part of this anti-modern farmhouse Facebook group.
Yes.
And they post stuff like that, either stuff that they see on their own Facebook pages or Pinterest or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's just so amazing and awful at the same time.
It's just like, just why? Why?
I have no idea.
So many
they
questions.
think it's cute. They think it's cute.
I guess. I mean, if you think that's cute.
He thought it was cute. He thought she was cute. Everyone thought she was cute.
Okay.
And while she's trying to climb the social ladder, Amélie was just generally unsatisfied in her social life and her married life. She just wanted more. She specifically wanted to feel true, passionate love. And her wealthy old husband just was not giving it to her. So she explored other relationships outside of her marriage. One affair was with Dr. Potsy, a gynecologist whose portrait was also painted by an artist that they had in common. That's actually the first slide. I just wanted to show you this picture of one of her love affair guys.
Ooh, I love his outfit.
Yeah, he's dressed in like his pajamas with a red robe,
Yeah.
and the background is all red.
It's like a red velvet curtain. It's very sultry, and he is hot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't want to say anything in your lesson, but I was like, I have a figure that I think is hot in my lesson.
no, he's certified is.
He's pretty hot.
He kind of looks like I don't know his. Never mind. An actor that I don't remember his name. The British boyfriend in New Girl. He kind of looks like him to me. At least from this angle.
Yeah, I could see it.
but with a dark beard.
Yeah, he's sexy.
Yeah.
We like Dr. Potsy. And Amélie was modeling on a regular basis at this point, and she posed for plenty of paintings throughout her life. She was just generally well known for her looks. Specifically, and I'll show you a painting of her, she had very pale skin, and she would accentuate it by using a lavender tone powder. And I'm thinking like arsenic.
Yeah.
Some people suggest that she ingested arsenic to maintain her pale skin. But it was just color theory that the lavender color would even out any yellowness in her skin and make her look like a fucking vampire.
That's kind of fun.
It is. It's like almost shocking. One night she was at this party in like the 1880s at Dr. Potsy's apartment when she met the painter John Singer Sargent. And he's the one who painted this man in red. We can post it to the Instagram. Amélie was popular enough by then that Sargent saw her and he knew, he was like, I really want to get her to pose for me. He wasn't going to pay her, but he figured that it could be a symbiotic relationship. Like Amélie would get attention from being in his painting, and he would also get attention, but also having this up-and-coming socialite would boost his artistic career as well.
I will pay you an exposure.
I'll pay you an experience.
Yeah. That sounds like a one-sided deal to me.
For sure. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe she'll go on to regret it. But nonetheless, Amélie agreed, and they found out that they actually had a lot in common. They felt like they had a lot to talk about. Both of them were expats in their 20s, just trying to climb that social ladder. But it turned out the actual process of making the painting was not fun at all. There are letters Sargent wrote to his friends saying that he just, quote, couldn't do this anymore. She couldn't sit still and was being a terrible model all around.
Wasn't her job being a model?
Yeah.
Why was she so bad at it?
I don't know. I'm wondering if he's just impatient, but also at the time, I think he painted her at her house because she had like maids coming up and asking her questions. She had a daughter at this point in time. It seems like she was always getting pulled in all these different directions.
She was just busy.
She's
busy. Like, bitch, you're not paying me. Like,
yeah, this
pay
is
me and
charity.
maybe I'll sit still. Yeah.
He's like, she won't shut up about how bored she is, which that would be boring.
Yeah, I would hate it.
I would absolutely hate it.
They didn't even have TV.
No,
she
what are you
couldn't
going to
even
do?
Look at something.
Listen to music, daydream, and you have to like stay in this posture that you'll see it was not easy to stay in. It's not a comfortable posture. And he's like, I can't paint her for more than 30 minutes before she just gets up and leaves and says she needs to go do things. So he's getting pissed off. Sargent described her in his letters as, quote, the unpaintable beauty and hopeless laziness of Madame Gautreau. So he wasn't having fun. He just couldn't stand her. They did not work well together at all. And on the flip side of it, she was also upset with Sargent because the whole situation was taking way longer, I think, than she expected. And she's just complaining constantly about like, why do painters have to paint and stuff like that?
Yeah, it sounds like they should just stop.
I don't know why they even finished it, honestly.
Unhappy.
They're both unhappy. They're like cats and dogs. But the final product of their collaboration is like, mwah, chef's kiss. So Sargent finally finishes the painting, and I will show you a picture of the painting. This is the original. But I'm going to have you, Alec, actually go to the next slide. And you may have seen this painting before, Kat, but if you want to describe it,
I don't know that I have seen it before. The second one is much prettier than the first one you showed me.
Yeah.
It's like a very pale woman, and she's wearing a like sexy black dress. She's kind of looking off to the side, so you see her side profile, but she's facing the, I guess, camera.
Yeah, facing the viewer, her body is, but she's looking off. So it's kind of like she's there, yet she's absent and aloof almost.
She kind of looks like Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, she kind of does. She does have that very pale skin. There's a few more parts in the portrait that I want to point out that you may not see at first glance. Oh yeah, go to that slide, Alec. That's perfect. The difference between the first picture I showed you, you'll notice the sleeve of her dress is kind of hanging off of her shoulder.
Yeah.
That's the original picture, and it got painted over, which we'll get to in a minute. And that black and white is just a picture someone took of the original. But there's this flash of white on her finger that hints at a wedding ring. And there's this very small crescent-shaped tiara on her head. And it's meant to represent the Roman goddess Diana. And that goddess was celibate and chaste, which posed a lot of questions later on because Amélie was known to get around and have all of these extramarital affairs. So they're wondering why she has this like crown kind of winking towards Diana. And all in all, Sargent chose to protect Amélie's identity and titled the Portrait of Madame ... So when he finally finishes the painting, he figures that Amélie is pretty famous, at least around Paris, and the painting looks good, so he's going to show it off at the Paris Salon. And that was essential for any recognizable artist in Paris at the time. Like, if you were anybody, your art had to go in the Paris Salon because that's where everyone went to view the art. It was for the big leagues. So Sargent and Amélie are both super excited for this piece to be displayed at the salon. Amélie felt that it would verify her in a way in high society. It's like she would kind of had her foot in the door, but she wasn't a big player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, now she's in the salon.
Yes, exactly. And so they're excited, but then Sargent gets kind of like cold feet before the exhibit actually opens. He starts wondering if it was a good idea and that maybe they shouldn't put this one out.
Why?
We're still unsure what exactly gave him second thoughts.
Is it too scandalous?
Yes, we think that he thought it was too scandalous, but the thing was, at the time, other art portrayed women in similar ways. There are plenty of other art pieces that show the same amount of skin, that have the similar silhouette. Like, yes, it is sexy, but they think that perhaps it's the shoulder strap that fell to the side that had Sargent thinking, I don't know if this is a good idea. It might be too suggestive. It might be too flirtatious.
In the original, it looks like the dress is sheer too. Am I seeing that right? Like you can see her thighs through it?
No, everything was the same.
Okay.
The one on the left, the black and white one, was an actual picture taken in the 1880s. So, you know, cameras...
Gotcha.
Yeah. The only thing that changed was the actual strap.
Okay.
So nonetheless, Sargent decides to put it in the exhibit. And at this time, it's 1884. The Paris Salon is not what it used to be. Artists from the era noted there was nothing good to see there and that the salon had been having a bad year.
Burn.
Yeah.
Rude.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, what qualifies good art? I mean, I imagine it all kind of looked like this, portraits of wealthy people.
Exactly. The artist felt like everything looked the same and it was getting dull and they were not that great of quality.
Okay.
So those were the critiques. They felt like it just was like, meh,
We've seen it before.
They were on a decline. Exactly. And to make matters worse, there were heaps of these just mid paintings. So visitors had to walk through rooms and rooms and rooms full of these subpar art before they could even make it to Sargent's painting. But the facilitators at the salon heard about Sargent's painting and they really wanted to see it. Also, visitors at the salon felt the same way. The art that they already had exhibited was all the same to each other, but this was a bit different. There was just something about it. So they're like, okay, we will walk through these pile of crap art pieces to get to the main attraction.
Did they put it in the back to make people walk through the whole thing?
Yes, they sure did. And people did. But when they finally made it to the painting, I don't think it's exactly what they were expecting it to be. Everyone found something to critique. And the people going to the salon were anxious to prove that they were superior almost, that they were members of high society, that they could critique art, that their morality was intact.
Everyone just wanted to have something to say.
Exactly. And they weren't going to go out on a limb for a painting that was deemed scandalous.
Okay.
The biggest issue was the godforsaken strap that had fallen from her shoulder.
That's a bummer. And I prefer the one with both straps on.
Disagree.
Really?
I prefer it with it off. Yeah, because
it already looks loose here.
Yeah. And the juxtaposition of like your eyes are just led down with the way she's like leaning and her hip out, but like her head is turned the other way. It's like almost have that other element of the strap falling off.
Yeah.
And I think it loosens it up a little bit.
Definitely loosens it up. I think that's why I prefer the like
she's put together.
It's the other one. It's like I see the strap and I want to fix it.
Yeah, and she did. She went to fix it, and Sergeant, while he was painting, he was like, no, leave it.
Okay.
So that was a very purposeful decision. But like you, people denounced the strap. They said the outfit was fine, but the fallen strap was sent straight from hell.
So silly.
I know.
It's literally, for those listening, it's like a spaghetti strap. Like, it makes no difference.
Made of jewels.
Yeah.
Also, her pose was considered sensual and aloof. Her neckline was apparently too low, and they noted that her skin does not look right. It was unhealthy looking and zombie-esque.
Okay. Oh, and so what? Like, it's a painting.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of paintings show people who are extremely pale.
Yeah.
And that was in fashion for a very long time.
Yeah,
it was
it's
like
popular.
what you did, but they were not having, I think the specific critique was that she was bluish, purplish looking instead of just being naturally pale.
She had purple powder on. What do you want her to do?
It was her signature powder. The only part of her body that isn't powdered is her ear. Do you see how pink her ear is?
Oh, yeah, it is pink.
People tend to really like that fact about this painting because it's like she has this aloof stance that she's in, and it's almost like you can't really tell much even about her, but then you see her ear and it's almost a glimpse at like what's underneath all of that powder and all of that.
Yeah, I like it. It almost makes it seem like she's flushed and like you can't see it on her face because she's wearing makeup.
She probably was flushed. She's pissed off because it's taking so long to
she's
paint
angry.
this portrait. And historians think that all it took was one foul opinion for everyone to kind of hop on the bandwagon and start condemning Sargent's immoral painting. And nobody wanted their own morality in question. So people were upset with the skin tone, the awkward stance, and the strap from hell. So because of that, shit went down. News spread fast that there was a scandalous Sargent painting at the salon. And people showed up expecting to hate it before they even saw it. Just like if you are going to see a movie that has gotten poor reviews already.
She-Hulk Attorney at Law.
Oh my God. We did start watching that. Honestly, it sounded like every other superhero show that like Tommy watches that I overhear.
Okay.
I guess it was better than I expected it to be, but it was still not something that I am going to
There's
watch.
something just about the title that sounds so stupid.
Cracks me the fuck up.
Why is she an attorney? I don't get it.
Well, okay, here's what happened. Spoiler alert ahead if you're planning on watching She-Hulk Attorney at Law. So she was already a lawyer.
Okay.
And she's like related by blood to Hulk, like the Hulk.
Okay.
And they're driving down the street and then there's this like aircraft or something that they like comes down on the road like it's gonna abduct them or something, and then she like veers off the road and they get into a car accident, and the Hulk, he's in his human form and he's like bleeding, and she's also bleeding, but she goes to help him because he's in a more severe condition, and she basically gets some of the Hulk blood in her and that turns her into a Hulk.
So Hulks are like vampires. You can spread it with their blood?
I guess so. That's what I was really confused about too. I thought that it had to be like how Hulk became Hulk, like through some chemical reaction or something.
And I guess the attorney thing, it's just like, why put that in the title? Once she's the Hulk, her job doesn't matter. Like, she's the Hulk.
Yeah,
right?
Well, that's what she's trying to do, is still practice and be like a human.
And she's green.
She's not green all the time.
Okay.
It just depends,
Okay.
I guess. But
I thought
also,
she was green all the time. And
that'd be way cooler.
it would definitely be way more interesting.
I could be into that if she was green all the time. She might be. I don't know. I watched the first 20 minutes.
Yeah. It just reminds me of Shrek. Like, I see her green And
Yeah.
I don't know. I also hate the Hulk, but there's just something that seems extra ridiculous about that
And
show.
I love that they had to say She-Hulk.
Yeah, that's part of it too. It's like, why isn't she just a Hulk? Like,
Yeah,
She-Hulk?
Hulk attorney at law.
Yeah, I don't call my dog a she-dog. Like, it's so dumb.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be so funny if it was like Hulk, the other gender.
Right, yeah.
That's
Hulk,
basically what
she's a girl. Girl Hulk. Like, what the fuck?
What's the not chromosome, what's it called for your genetic markers for, it's like XX and XY.
Yeah.
Chromosomes.
It is chromosomes. Okay, wow, I sound so dumb.
What's that called? Like your chromosomes?
I thought it was called something different for your gender. I don't know
No.
why. But if it was like, what's the one for females?
XX.
Okay. Hulk XX. That's the joke. Okay. Anyway.
Okay, I get it. Good joke.
Thank you. Let's just get this done. So anyway, back to the learning journey. Amélie and Sargent are both at the exhibition and they're walking around. They're hearing people talk shit about the painting and they're both like, damn, this is not what we expected at all. Super embarrassing. And Sargent had his doubts. He expected a few bad reviews, but it was just like all bad. A few hours after the opening, the press went in for the kill. They published caricatures, jokes, satire articles. It was the thing people were talking about in the city was this painting.
I mean, all press is good press, though, right?
I guess so. I mean, well, in this case, no. There is a example of one of the caricatures on the next slide. Just her nose was made so big, and
It's not even a good caricature.
It's
like,
not.
Like, literally, what can you make fun of? That painting looks fine.
It's a beautiful painting, and she was a beautiful woman. I don't know. So Amélie is expecting this piece to launch her into even higher social status, but it was quite the opposite. Everyone is laughing at her, questioning her morality. So she's pissed. Also, her mom is pissed. Amélie's mom wrote a letter to Sargent saying that if he does not take this painting down right now, her sons are going to challenge him to a duel.
Uh-oh.
Sargent had ruined the family's name and destroyed Amélie's career. But Sargent is like, I literally cannot do that. Once something is hung at the salon, you cannot take it down. That's the rule.
It stays there forever?
Not forever, until the exhibit is over, whatever
Oh.
date that is.
Okay.
Sounds like an out to me.
Yeah, it's an excuse.
For sure. Well, I don't know what happened. He was never challenged to a duel that I could find out about. So
Yeah, she was bluffing.
talking big shit. The painting remains for the entirety of the exhibition. But when the painting is finally taken down, Sargent does paint that one fallen strap from hell up back onto her shoulder, but the damage was already done. Amélie from then was known as a loose woman, and Sargent was the painter of a loose woman. And so she got a lot of attention from this quote unquote scandal. Some sources say that it ruined her life. Other sources say what you said, that it was good press. Many of her high society friends ghosted her, and people did want to see her, but they wanted to see her, quote, dead like skin, not like see her and be her friend.
Yeah, there's a difference.
She did have more portraits painted of her after this, but none of them caused quite the tizzy that this one did. And the remainder of her life is shrouded in a lot of mystery. Sargent, however, was forced to leave his Parisian artful circles and was basically exiled to London. Thankfully, though, his career did flourish in the UK and the United States. He was able to sell the painting to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in 1916, and he asked them to maintain the anonymity of the model.
How?
Even
we
though
all know who it is.
Everyone knew who it was. So he changed the title to Madame X, and he left it saying, quote, I suppose it's the best thing I've ever done. Amélie ended up living apart from her husband And not much is known about the last half of her life. She died in 1915 in her 50s. I think she was 56 years old.
Wow. But she was like okay, right? Like she was
okay.
on the street.
No, I don't think she was on the
Okay.
street, but she was not achieving her dreams
Yeah.
of being like the successful socialite.
Dang, that sucks.
All because of this damn strap.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, she has the right to do whatever she wants, but I feel like if she had embraced it, then maybe things would have gone different.
She could have gone a whole different
Yeah.
route. And maybe she did, but who's to say?
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing that she would have had to battle at the time would have been the bandwagon idea that like no one wanted to step outside the circle of saying that like, well, it's not that bad. Like this is good art.
It's so wild. Like art is supposed to be provocative. Like it's weird that it was like the exact opposite back then. It's like you didn't want anything controversial.
And
in
this
art.
wasn't even that controversial.
Yeah, not at all. Literally, her strap fell down.
You were going to
It's
see
not
that
like her tit was out.
Yeah, like you're gonna see that part of her body no matter what if the strap is on or off.
Yeah. So weird.
So crazy. And it's like, okay, maybe it is suggestive, but like you're the one who's being suggested.
And it would have been suggestive with the strap up. Like it doesn't make that much of a difference.
Totally. So who knows what could have been, but that is how it apparently ruined her life.
Wow.
My sources are The Dress That Snatched Wigs in 1884 Paris, the Madame X story by Karolina Zabrowska. The iconic painting destroyed her life. Here's why by Art Deco. Masterpiece story by John Singer Sargent by James W. Singer. 1884 John Singer Sargent Madame X on fashionhistory.edu.
Thank you
You're
for that
welcome.
learning journey. Little scandalous double feature.
Look at us. We need to
So in
link up
sync.
on these little themes more often.
I know. That was fun. Well, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. Make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe.
My words are escaping me.
I was just thinking about what I'm going to do after this, which is go to the grocery store and get ingredients to make beer cheese for tomorrow.
Beer cheese. I'm so ready.
Me too. Pretzels and beer cheese for batch night. Can't wait. But yeah, thank you guys. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. Hopefully we'll be posting on more on social media soon. I'll try to work on that.
Me too.
And, tell a friend. You can copy this link that whatever app you're listening on, plug it into your text, send it out. We love to see it. Support our sponsors. And if you want to give us some extra support, you can donate to us on Patreon. That money does go to help the show. Thanks to our Patreons, we're able to buy new fancy microphones so we sound better for all of you. So please support us there. There are plenty of perks. We'll be recording a new list bitch and a new trivia very soon. Check it. Keep your eyes out for that. And yeah, as always, thank you for listening. We love you. And 3, 2, 1, class dismissed.
Awesome.